So, now we come to the art of oral presentation. One common problem is that when you are presenting before a learned audience for the first time, you might become nervous. It happens to everybody. It happened to me for definitely when I presented for the first time. It happens. And the good way of handling that is to smile at the audience. Right when you go up the podium to start to speak, look at the audience, make eye contact and smile. That takes care of your nervousness more or less. In the presentation, adopt a conversational tone. So, if you memorize everything and then you are simply speaking from memory, it looks artificial. Rather, take a conversational tone. The slides are there and you are presenting, you should still make eye contact, you should face the audience, you should not look at the slide and talk. A very common mistake is where the speaker turns back to the audience, looks at the slides and simply reads the slides. Very bad idea. So, only when you need to refer to something with your pointer, you look at the slide and do the pointing, but after that always look at the audience, make eye contact with the audience. It is very important. So, one very disturbing habit I find of most Indians is to start a talk with the word so. They will start with so, no, because so always comes in sequel of something that is already said. Something has been said, so this, you can say that. But you cannot start a sentence or a talk with the word so. So, definitely avoid that and practice avoiding that. Give rehearsal talks before your friends and maybe before just a mirror, and every time be very conscious that I will not start the talk with the word so. In international conferences, you have to be careful of the fact that the audience might not be exposed to our way of pronunciation. Indians pronounce have a specific kind of accent. We pronounce words differently, and that too there are differences between the English pronunciation in North India, in South India, in East India, in West India. We have the influence of our own native language on the way we speak English, and the listeners might not be exposed to that. So, speak slowly, pronounce each word separately, do not join words except words like do not. Otherwise, do not join words, speak every word separately and practice speaking that way. Many people have the habit of speaking fast. You have to deliberately cultivate the habit of speaking slow, even though you might be rushing through that, but still your speaking should be slow, cultivated, and the idea is to get the message across. Do not try to tell the audience everything that you have done. That is hopeless. You cannot do that because there is no time for that. So, always focus on the big picture. What was known before you started the work? Additionally, what have you done? And as a result, in what way knowledge has improved? These are the essential three messages. And try to get that message across. The whole idea of presenting in a conference is to get the audience or the people in the audience interested in reading my papers. So, if they get interested, they will search up my papers, read them, download them, all that will happen if I can get them interested. So, the whole idea is not to tell the whole thing, but to get them interested. Now, after the talk is over, there will be at the end you have to give some take home message, so that when the person goes back, he has a lingering thought that this man presented this, so I have to look up this further. So, there has to be some take home message. At the end, when you are finished, there will be a question answer session, and the president of the session will ask the audience to ask questions, and there may be questions. It may be good idea, since you are unable to present everything within the time allocated, it might be good idea to utilize the time for the question answer session in a productive way, so that during the regular talk, the whole talk, you have sort of left a few questions unanswered, which you are sort of expecting to be asked in the question answer session, which will allow you to answer those questions, as a result present something more, thus utilizing the question and answer session in a productive way. So, it is possible for somebody who is a experienced presenter, it is possible to sort of present in such a way that will invite certain questions that you want to answer. But otherwise, there can be questions and you have to answer them. There may be situations where a questioner challenges you or asks the question in an attacking tone. It is possible. In those situations, do not lose your composure. Thank the questioner that he or she has raised that point, and try your best to answer the question as best as you can. There may be also situations where the questioner has pointed out some error that you have made. Thank the questioner and profusely, and do not try to defend an error. This is a very bad practice. You should not try to defend an error. If there is an error, you simply admit that I will correct it. If there is a question whose answer you do not know, do not try to manage. You simply say that I do not know. In science, it is not a discredit not to know something, but not to know and not knowing that you do not know is a discredit, or not knowing and trying to defend still is a discredit, but simply saying that I do not know is fine. In the scientific community, that is perfectly normal behavior. So, you should admit if you do not know something. This experience of presenting before an audience is valuable. It is a valuable experience and a learning experience, and that is why I would recommend all PhD students should try to attend at least one international conference and at least one national conference within their PhD tenure. If the funding for attending international conference is not available, then at least a conference, a good conference held in India, so that it does not cost much to attend it, where international audience will be there, so that you get that exposure is very important. Now, there is another method of presentation, as you know, poster presentation. So, I will now come to poster presentation. Here also there are two issues. One is preparation of the poster and presentation of the poster. Now, how do they compare the oral presentation and the poster presentation? In an oral presentation, all the presenters are on the same pedestal, they have the same chunk of time, except for the plenary talks or the keynote addresses, all presentations are normally of the same time. So, everybody has the same amount of time available, and that is the time you are able to interact with anybody in the audience. So, you cannot personalize exchanges, which is possible in a poster presentation. So, a oral presentation is some people have the idea that the oral presentations are more prestigious than poster presentation. That is not quite so, because there are some things which are better presented as a poster, there are some things which are better presented as a oral. So, you have to get rid of that idea that oral presentation is prestigious, the poster presentations are not. That is not a good idea to have. In an oral presentation, you have a fixed time to interact with the audience. In a poster presentation, you have a long time to interact with the audience. In a oral presentation, you interact exactly the same way with everybody in the audience, while in a poster presentation, you can fine tune personal interactions, which is not possible in a oral presentation. So, in many cases, one prefers poster presentation. So, the whole idea is that, like the oral presentation, the poster presentation, the whole idea is that to get the message across, I have done this and I will expose this work to as many interested people as possible. But in a conference, everybody may not be interested in your work, they may be working on different areas, they may be cursorily interested in knowing what you have done, but not in the details, because only somebody who is working in that area or a related area will be interested in knowing all the details. Otherwise, people will be interested in knowing what it is all about. And the way people normally attend poster sessions is that they go from poster to poster, essentially trying to figure out what it is all about. And out of say 100 posters that are lined up, they would decide on 3 or 4 on which they will spend time. They will like to learn that in a greater detail. So, therefore, the right way of presenting a poster is to prepare a 3-minute brief outline of the work. If somebody comes to your poster, simply say that, what it is all about, what questions are you asking, how did you do that, and what is the take home message, just within 3 minutes. And then ask, would you like to get some detail? If the person is interested, he will say, or he might ask question, then you can answer, and that may lengthen the discussion. But in most cases, they will know about the overall area of your work and they will move around, because they would like to know the next. And finally, if they find that yes, there was something that I would like to know in detail, they will come back to your poster. The major error that most presenters make, especially students when they go to a conference to present a poster, is the person who has just drifted to your poster, catch him or her and lecture for half an hour. Never do that, because that person may not be working in that area, he may not know the background in that area, he may not be interested in that area. And if you simply keep on lecturing him or her for half an hour, he or she will not be able to move because of simple courtesy, but he will be bored. He is losing his time, because he needs to go to other posters to find out what these are all about also. So, do not detain somebody against his or her wish. Always prepare a 3-minute brief, present that, and then ask, would you like to have some detail? You will find that out of the whole number of people who are there in the conference, maybe 3-4 people will be interested in your work. Now, if such a person, your whole idea of the presentation is to catch those people, catch the attention of those people. There are a few things about it. One, how would you prepare the poster so that it is eye catching, so that anybody from a distance will be able to spot it. For that, the poster has to be well laid out. Normally, the conference organizers will tell you what will be the poster board size. Is it in the landscape format or in the portrait format, and you have to start working from that, from the size. If you are using you can prepare a poster using PPT. A single PPT slide is the poster, maybe the poster, or if you are using LaTeX, then there are various formats available in LaTeX by which you can do that. But remember, a poster has to have the title, then the names, and then the commonest mistake is to put all the materials of paper in the poster, as a result of which the letters become small, everything written up, the whole poster becomes riddled with words, text. Should not be done, because nobody is going to stand there and read the poster. You are there to explain what is what, and therefore, you should put in the poster only that which you will need in order to explain something. A picture, the picture of the experimental setup, an equation, the parameter values. So, these are the things that you will need, and things should be as bullet points, the way you present in a oral presentation, same way in bullet points, so that while you speak you may point to certain points. So, make the poster such so that it is aesthetically pleasing and it can be read from a distance of about 1.5 to 2 meters, so that each letter can be read. In order to ensure that, again the font size has to be large enough. And again I would say that do not use mixture of different font families in a single poster, that looks odd, bad. Do not use only a single font family, and if there are lots of equations, the equations are normally made with certain font, and the rest of the poster, that is the text part of the poster, should be in the same font. This section headings and subsection headings can be in a different font. So, either you prepare a PowerPoint slide, or in LaTeX you can prepare that. All that I am insisting on that, it should not be verbose. Text should be used sparingly. The poster should be dominated by images, pictures, or equations which you need in order to explain things. Normally we make posters in the title in 60 point, section headings (30 points), and the text 20 points or larger. So, this is the minimum requirement, otherwise it will not be legible from a distance. And remember, you have to be next to the poster for the whole period of the poster session. Never drift away because nobody is coming to your poster. No, because somebody might come to your poster when you had drifted away somewhere else. Do not have the poster hanging somewhere and you are chatting with your friends. No, do not do that. The whole purpose of a poster session is that you have to catch the attention of the prospective peers who are working in the same field, and you have to tell your work to them. When your own presentation period is over, then you can go to other posters. You can exactly the way I said that you have to stand in front of each poster, find out what is the crux of the matter, and then drift out to the next one, so that you get more or less an idea about the whole range of things are being presented. Decide on which one you would like to concentrate on, like to know more detailed about, and go there and discuss with them. Now, if somebody comes to your poster and after your first 3-minute outline presentation shows interest, asks question, then engage with them in greater detail, because they are really interested. Now, that greater detail might be involving things that you have not put in the poster, and so it is a good idea to carry a laptop computer with you, so that if there is a question or you want to tell something that is not there in the poster, some detail, Maybe you have done an experiment and you have got an experimental video which you would like to show, simply open the laptop and show them, so that the engagement with those interested people becomes more detailed, elaborate, and from that something comes up. So, the poster presentation has a style. One of the commonest mistakes of many students I find is that they go to a conference with the peculiar idea that the job they have to do is to present their work. No, you are also an audience. The whole idea of going to a conference is to present your work and listen to the others' work. And that is why you should also attend the others' talks and the poster sessions, other posters, other people's posters, and that way you have to maximize the advantage of going to a conference. The advantage, as I said, networking, talking to people, exchanging ideas. And it does not happen if you simply go to your session, present your paper and disappear for some tourism trip. No, do not do that. Always keep some tourism time after the conference, all right, that is perfectly fine, but during the conference you have to be focused on maximizing the effect of the conference. So, you have to be in the conference, you have to interact with people. During the tea time, coffee time, lunch time, do not eat alone. Make friends, talk to people and go to dine with them, lunch with them, have coffee with them, sit down and discuss problems. If you have a problem and you do not have a solution, if you have a senior person present there, you simply present the problem and most people will be happy to offer a suggestion. So, this is the main advantage of a conference. So, to summarize, in preparing a poster, make sure that it can be spotted from a distance by somebody who might be interested in that area. It should be aesthetically pleasing, and you should not make it verbose, you should not make it full of text, should be dominated by images, pictures, and when you present, avoid the common mistake of catching somebody and then lecturing him for half an hour. Always present a very brief summary of what you have done, because the person who is coming is only interested in knowing what it is all about. You have to be aware of that, what it is all about. And then if the person is interested, he will come back. He will come back and ask further questions. So, present in such a way so that the people who are really working in your field or are interested in your field come to you, ask you further questions, and you can then engage in more personal interaction with that person. And that is the advantage of a poster session, which is not offered by a oral session. So, the poster session has to be very conducted in such a way, the person has to present in such a way, so that one can get the maximum advantage out of it, exposing my work to the people who are interested in knowing my work. That is the whole purpose.